المشاهدون الكرام، برنامج حوار البناء الوطني يسعد في هذه الحلقة أيضا أن يلتقي بالسيد السفير روبرت فان ديندول، سفير الاتحاد الأوروبي هنا في السودان. وهذا الاتحاد الأوروبي من الدول التي قادت للتحضير لمؤتمر برلين، والذي قدم دعما سياسيا واقتصاديا غير مسبوق للسودان. Mr. Robert, thank you so much for coming to this program, and after the successful conference that was held in Berlin, German. How do you make of that conference first?
Lukman, first of all, thank you very much for having me on your show. I'm really very happy to be with you, and regards also to the people of Sudan. We are still actually celebrating the good result of yesterday because we were very happy, and I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate the Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, his government, the Sovereign Council, and particularly also the people of Sudan with the result of yesterday's International Partnership Conference for Sudan, organized by Germany, the European Union, the United Nations, together with the government of Sudan. I think it's a milestone in the democratic transition of the country, and now we are really looking forward to the real hard work that lies ahead.
The European Union, it seems to be leading, in the area of commitment, the financial commitment, and also the political commitment that's, being spelled out in the conference. Could you explain to us how that's going to be done, how that's going to be invested, how you are going to follow up with the Sudanese government to make, this commitment something it's leading into the well-being on the transition period here in Sudan?
Well, first of all, let me also commend my German colleague, the Ambassador Ulrich Löckmann, who will also be speaking to you via internet link, who has worked very, very hard to mobilize all the partners in the conference to support Sudan. This was a really unique opportunity. There were more than 40 countries and institutions that came to the support of the people of Sudan in that democratic transition, mobilizing some $1.8 billion in support for the country, which is really a very good result. The European Union and its member states stood out as one of the major contributors, with almost 50% of the total pledge coming from Team Europe. And we are very happy and proud to announce that with these funds will be available for all the three important elements of the transition this country is going through. First and foremost, of course, there is the democratic transition, including the comprehensive peace that the government is working so hard to achieve, and for which we would like to extend our warm support, because we think that the democratic transition critically also depends on achieving peace throughout the country with all the participants, for all people. Secondly, there is of course the important process of economic recovery. The pledges of support of the countries yesterday include support for what is called now the Family Support Program that the Sudanese government is going to implement to support particularly the most vulnerable people in Sudan to weather the economic storms and also the effects of the COVID pandemic that has also hit this country so hard, and that we are all jointly trying to fight. Let me mention, by the way, that we also welcomed the second air bridge flight of support of humanitarian and medical goods and humanitarian workers earlier this week. The Team Europe initiative brought more than 90 tons of equipment and 35 humanitarian workers to the country in a show of support in responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. Thirdly, of course, the reintegration of Sudan in the international community is of utmost importance. We are very happy to see that the World Bank has also pledged important funds for the transition process, And also the International Monetary Fund has agreed a staff monitored program with the government that will enable the country to also work towards debt relief, which is very important for the country. And we also hope that the hard work that the government is doing together with our friends for the United States to do everything that is necessary to, as quickly as possible, remove the new Sudan from the list of states sponsoring terrorism, because that will also help the country to integrate into the international community. And the international community stands ready to welcome the Sudanese people back into its midst on a path to economic recovery and prosperity for all in Sudan.
Integrating Sudan into the international community, it's one of the main highlights of that conference. As you just said, one of the main obstacles here is that putting Sudan in the state in the list of states sponsor terrorism by the United States of America. Yesterday, the United States of America did not say something to that regard, but we know that you are following up with the United States of America. And it seems it's very important to this process you are doing, to this commitment you are doing, to the economic recovery, that it's very important to Sudan. So have you seen any indication that the United States of America it's going to remove the Sudan from that list soon? Are you going to make more effort to have Sudan lifted from that list soon in the nearest future?
Well, to be frank with you, we cannot do more because we already do all we can. We are very much aware of the importance of this issue, as are also our American friends. But one of the really important outcomes of yesterday has been that the entire international community unisono has voiced support for Sudan and its democratic transition. And this includes also our friends from the United States. So I am confident that in cooperation with the entire international community and the Sudanese government, solutions will be found to bring Sudan back into the international community. Also, to acknowledge the fact that the new Sudan is not the Sudan that was on the list, and that the friends of the United States and the government of Sudan will be able to find a solution to this very difficult issue soon, because the country needs the support of the entire international community. So we have good hopes, but we have to let the process take its course.
Hope, are you optimistic that this is going to happen soon?
Well, let me tell you, I arrived in this country on the 1st of October 2019. Ever since, I have met with a lot of Sudanese, and I am amazed and I am impressed by the resilience and by the perseverance of the people. So I'm full of confidence that this process, with the international support that has been given yesterday, that the people of Sudan will be able to make this democratic change work, to repair the economy, and to come back into the international community. And we, as the European Union and its member states, stand ready to support this country with everything we can.
Great. You have mentioned the economic recovery, and 1.8 billion, it's significant amounts, but some analysts they believe Sudan need more. So are we right if we say this is just a beginning and there is more financial commitment will be coming our way?
You are very right in stating that, because this 1.8 billion is a pledge that this is coming to this country in 2020. The process will take longer than just 1 year, because it's a very, very comprehensive and difficult process. So there will be more support coming. And it will also be necessary to repair the economy. The economy has suffered for 30 years, and you cannot repair such a broken economy in 365 days. So yes, there will be more time, there will be more funds, and there also will be more perseverance needed to actually come to a point where the country can really build its economy in a democratic way as a part of the international community. But I am very hopeful and confident that the international community will stand by the people of Sudan in this difficult but promising process.
Another issue, as we speak right now, there is a delegation from Juba came to Sudan. in the peace negotiation process. The Sudanese government indicated that soon, maybe within days, the peace agreement will be signed with this delegation. How do you see that, and how the European Union is willing to support this process?
Well, let me first of all say that we have wholeheartedly supported this peace process from the start, when it started in October. When COVID broke out, the talks broke down because there was the social distancing problem, there was the travel ban, so people couldn't meet anymore. And although there was good progress, it was difficult to continue these talks. So at that point we stepped in together with the colleagues of the European Union delegation in Juba. We invited the negotiating parties to our premises. We helped them with our video equipment, so they continued their talks from using our facilities, and we were very happy and proud to do that. We now see that the results are positive. But the parties still have some ground to cover. We support this process wholeheartedly because we think that a comprehensive peace is really of the essence for the democratic transition of Sudan. So we really hope that all the parties on the government side and also on the side of the armed groups and other groups that are active in this process will find a common ground to sign a comprehensive peace agreement soon. That will be one of the main building blocks of the social, economic and political recovery of the country.
Juba delegation, it's going to be here tomorrow, yes, talking about the prospects of peace. And earlier, before recording this session, you asked me to extend my regard. But if you have a chance to address them and to, yes, give them a message, what are you going to say to them? And I'm going to play that to them tomorrow.
Well, first of all, I must explain to you that I know a few of the delegation members from my time in South Sudan some years ago. So I would like to say particularly to the delegation leader Gatwat Lak and Minister Djema Tok a warm welcome in Sudan.
And we have Yasser Arman is going to be here also.
All the people in the delegation are really warmly welcome here in Khartoum. And I would like to say that the European Union is very eagerly looking forward to the result of a comprehensive peace agreement. So I would urge them to do what is still to be done to achieve that result, and then know that the European Union and its member states stand ready to support this comprehensive peace, and we will be very happy to welcome such an agreement.
In that support, it seems one of the issues being raised that how the financial capability could be provided post the peace the agreement signature, and I think the European Union is one of the main important elements here. We have the issue of repatriation of the people in the IDP camps. We have the issue of development in this area, as you know, that's for more than 15 years, being destroyed, are ready to be rebuilt. It looked like it needed a Marshall Plan. So do you think the European Union will be ready to support this process after the signing the peace accord, and even if that required a financial assistance?
That, of course, is a part of the program of economic and social political recovery for the country. We have pledged our support for this process yesterday in a very visible and substantial way. We will have to wait for the results to come, and then it is to the government, to the other parties to the agreement and the international community to make an analysis of what will be needed and what will be possible. But the bottom line of the whole process is that this process is bringing together the government, the armed groups, the people who are in the IDP camps, who you really very aptly mention as the main stakeholders of this peace, because they want and they need to go home, and the international community to jointly make this peace into a success.
Mr. Robert, my last question. It's almost a year since this interim government took oath and now they are working. How do you see the Sudanese government and the Sudanese people are moving forward on achieving the goals of this interim periods?
Well, I would like to say that I am amazed about the whole process, because to see a people taking to the streets, forcing a government to step down and bringing in people of its own to actually govern the country, bring the country to democracy, is so difficult and is so complicated that I think I would have predicted 1 year ago that that would never be possible. Now, if you look at what the government has achieved ever since it came into power in September last year, is amazing, because they have mobilized the support of the people, they have brought together the power of the people and the power of other forces in the country into one government with one goal, and that is to bring peace and prosperity and justice for all, the slogan of the revolution, to the people. This is not something that one does in 365 days. This is something that will take time. But I would like to commend the Prime Minister once again, Abdullah Hamdok, and his government, the Sovereign Council, all the people in the Forces for Freedom and Change that work so hard to bring this democratic dream to reality. And I would like to not only commend them, but also give them my admiration, and also offer the support of the European Union and its member states in this process. Because we think that if this government and if this new Sudan continues along this road, it will become a beacon of hope and stability in the region, and it will become the best example of democratic prosperity on the African continent.
Mr. Robert Van, thank you so much for coming here and speaking here on the nation building dialogue. We really appreciate it, and also we ask you whenever we have some developing story that if you can come and talk, please come and talk to us. We really appreciate you, and we thank you so much for coming here.
I appreciate very much. Shukran jazilan.
Shukran jazilan. Shukran jazilan. Shukran jazilan.
Are we good?
Good.